Welcome to our shelf. Today we'll have a review of the latest tablet from Samsung, the Galaxy Tablet 3. This is the white 8-inch model, and you can also get this in brown. Here's what it looks like. So in case you missed my unboxing video earlier, here it is again in about 18 seconds. Basically all you get in the box is the actual tablet itself, a USB wall charger, and also a USB connect cable to connect to your computer or connect to the charger itself, and a few manuals and a quick start guide. Okay, so let's talk about some of the specs here. It features an 8-inch WXGA super clear LCD screen, 1.5 gigabytes of LPDDR2 RAM, a rear 5 megapixel camera, a front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera, an IR LED, which is basically used it can be used to be a universal remote. The processor is a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor. In terms of video quality, it features 1080p full playback and recording. The current operating system is Android 4.2.2, and as far as the battery goes, it's a 4450 milliamp battery. And I should also mention that this is the 16 gigabyte Wi-Fi model, which is the one you'll pretty much find in most stores. There is an international cellular model available. If you look around online, you can find those. Now here's the first boot up screen. After this, it's going to walk you through some standard setup screens, pretty much connect to Wi-Fi, set up date and time, connect to your Google accounts. The usual, nothing complicated there, so I'm not going to walk you through that. Now let's talk about the actual form factor itself. Again, I think this is I think it's the best looking tablet out there on the market in terms of the way it looks. Now, build quality is different. It's entirely plastic with the exception of the screen, but even the metal looking bezel on the side is plastic, but it still looks good. In terms of the actual dimensions of the tablet, the width is about 4.8 inches, the height is 8.2 inches, and the depth is approximately 0.27 of an inch. So now I'm going to point to the features on the body of this device. We have a rear 5 megapixel camera. On the bottom we have dual stereo speakers. In the middle we have a micro USB port. Onto the right hand side we have an IR blaster, volume rocker controls, a power button, and above the power button is a microphone. On top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the right hand side we have a micro SD card slot. Now onto the front of the device we have an ambient light sensor and a 1.3 megapixel front facing camera. And on the bottom we have a home button, a menu button, and also a back button. Now this tablet does have a very glossy finish, so it appears as if it would be slippery, but it's actually not. Feels very good in the hands. It is a fingerprint magnet, but what tablet isn't these days? Now there are 5 different ways to unlock this tablet. Number 1 is simply swipe to unlock. Face detection. Create your own pattern. Enter a PIN code, or just enter a password. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it also scans fingerprints. No, I'm just kidding, it doesn't scan fingerprints. And there's a few different ways to navigate through the page menus. Number 1 is to press the actual page buttons. Number 2 is to slide through the page buttons. And the other way is to simply just swipe your fingers. That's the way most of us do it anyway. Now one thing that's great about these Android devices is that they're totally customizable. That's why people love them. You can add more home pages. You can move pretty much any icon, any widget, wherever you want. Move pages around any direction, which is really great. So whatever fits your style, that's what you can do with these devices. Now let's go to our drop down menu. You just simply swipe down from any page. It'll give you your list of notifications and also a bunch of toggles you can go to change options and turn things off and on. And as far as notifications go, you can simply swipe to delete them and use 2 fingers and swipe down to expand them. Now if you press on the home button for a second, it'll open up your list of most recent apps. You can simply touch them to reopen them back up or swipe them to delete them. And by pressing the menu button is another way to simply get to some options to change things around. Speaking of the settings menu, there's a lot of things you can go through. I'm not going to go through all of them because we'd be here all day, but pretty much it's a standard settings menu. One of the things I like to use when I go through it is to look at the apps that are open to see how much battery they're using and how much data they're actually using. Those are some pretty neat features. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard. I mean, you can change the display, change the sound, customize the lock screen in terms of how many pages you want to put on it, adjust motion, turn voice on and off, change the language, etc. Now there are a lot of cool features on this tablet. One of my favorites is the setting called multi-viewing. What it basically allows you to do, and it only works for supported apps, is you can have one app open and have another app open all on the same page, so you can do multiple things at once. the singing sensation as it says right here. So I'm going to do a unboxing. The motion sensor doesn't work anymore, but you can still press a button. Another cool feature is you can swipe your palm across the screen to do a screenshot. Double tap the home button to bring up S Voice. How are the Chicago White Sox doing?
Google search how are the Chicago White Sox doing?
Or you can also use Google Now. How are the Chicago White Sox doing?
The White Sox is 5th in the AL Central standings.
Now let's talk about the actual camera. As I said earlier, it has a rear 5 megapixel camera, which actually is not bad. It takes decent pictures. The video quality, in my opinion, is not good at all. Some people were saying that it's good. I didn't get that. I mean, I wouldn't use this for a camcorder. To get a quick fix, it'll work, but it's not a quality camcorder in my opinion. But the pictures aren't bad at all. Here's some samples. Here are some pictures. Now in terms of typing, you have your standard keyboard, and you also have speak to type. Welcome to Onourshelf. We can press the option button to get more keyboards. We have a split keyboard feature. We have a mini full keyboard that moves around. Handwriting. And we also have a Swift key flow keyboard, which is the one that I always have problems trying to use. Now let's talk about playing games. As you can see right here, graphics are amazing. The colors really pop out at you. This is a high intensity game. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to talk about this game right here. No, but in all seriousness, this thing is great for playing games. It doesn't have the latest and greatest specs, but all games work fine on this. I played some high intensity games to low intensity games. The colors pop out actually really good. The rendering's good. There was no stuttering or stopping. And those dual internal speakers add to the effect. They sound really good. To sum it up, if you're buying this thing to play games, you won't have any issues here. And the same thing applies for watching movies. Yeah, it's not an OLED screen, which we kind of expected it to be, especially for the time frame that it came out, but the LCD screen still gets it done.
It's like walking through someone's small intestine.
Through tests of physical and mental toughness.
We've got to get out of this area.
And the sound is no disappointment either, like I said earlier. You have rich, crisp sound coming out of those dual speakers. Now in terms of browsing the web, I had no issues at all. The whites and blacks both look really good. However, when expanding images to make them bigger, I did see a lot of distortion. If you're buying this thing for content, no worries here. You have Google's Play Store and Samsung's App Store. So between those two, there's plenty of content to download. Movies, games, music, applications. Another great use for this tablet is also as an e-reader. It can be used in portrait or landscape mode, and the text is nice and crisp. When you pinch to zoom in, not so much. The text does get distorted. So in the end, this is a very good tablet, not a great tablet. If you crave the latest processors and screen technologies, this tablet might not be for you. You might want to look at other tablets. But with that being said, it does have the latest features of the newest tablets, plus a little bit more. It has a great form factor, great rear camera for taking pictures. And I spent the full 13 hours playing games and browsing the web and watching movies on this thing, and I still had a little bit of battery life left over. So it has a great battery, but it's not removable. And don't forget, you can also use this thing as a remote control to control your TV or your cable box. So while you're on it browsing the web, doing whatever you're doing, no need to switch devices. So that's been a review of the Samsung Galaxy Tablet 3. Thanks for watching. The best tablets to come out this year, hands down, especially in this size. Probably the best tablet. You know, I'm going to say it is the best tablet in this size. Currently out as of right now.